Hey everyone, this is episode 491 of the OotiniCast. And there it is. And it's 26th of June 2024. This is the raw version of the show that goes out with all flaws and flubs intact. And this raw version will also go up on YouTube after we're done streaming it on twitch.tv/OotiniCast. We do have an OotiniCast channel that we put all the these video versions of the show on, and then the audio version will get cleaned up as needed and put out as a podcast tomorrow. Let me go ahead and let folks know that we're live. Okay.
Is it working?
It did work. It worked last time, and then it hadn't worked like two or three times before that. So we'll see about that.
It's probably me.
Not sent. Amazing. It didn't.
What the hell? It's me.
That's crazy. Okay, let me go to my personal one. We'll just do it again, and I'll retweet it on OotiniCast, because at least that way OotiniCast will have retweeted it.
Yeah, and I'll retweet it as well.
Okay. It's crazy that happens, and it. Oh, didn't. Okay, hang on. It didn't work on my personal one either. Let me try on my desktop. Okay. Often the desktop will work where the app will not.
You going to do it on Brandon, or are you going to do it on Ootini?
Right now, I'm doing it on Brandon L. Star just because it's the one I'm logged into at the moment.
Cool.
Unfortunately, okay.
It knows you've been messing around on Mastodon.
All right, I tweeted it out. Let me see if I can at least retweet it in the app, and then we'll be good to go, I think.
There we go. All right. I am retweeting as well.
Cool. Let me get over to OotiniCast.
Retweet.
Come on, baby. Where are you? There we are. Okay. Yeah. And to be fair, I haven't really done as much on Twitch recently. I do retweet some, and I like some, but I've kind of gotten away from using it. I'm just not happy with the owner. Let's put it that way. Yeah. All right. But I am ready to go. You ready to go, Kitty?
Ready to go.
All right. I didn't say going in 5, so going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that has to fight a Wookiee after this show. This is episode 491, being recorded on Wednesday, June 26, 2024. I'm your host, Chill. With me is my co-host, KittyKissz. Hey, Kitty.
Hey, Bill. Good to see you.
Yeah, so a little Acolyte action. That was from Acolyte for sure. So it wasn't. It wasn't after this show. It was like after this run or something like that. Or after this trip. I can't remember the exact word she used because I changed it. But anyway, yeah. So we can talk about Acolyte later or during your week if you wish. What you've been up to? Now you were off last time, but what you've been up to then since the last show you were on?
Well, I've been enjoying the Acolyte. Mm-hmm. I know.
Just had a new episode. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear there's a lot of poo-pooing on the internet, but I think that there's a lot of adults out there acting like spoiled children. They need to knock it off.
I would agree. Yeah. Actually, I've liked a lot of things about the show. A couple of the episodes were, I like more, some I less. That's like every TV show, though. And then one thing that I think really stands out is I love how the force fighting is happening in this show, because there's a lot of force fighting, and they're actually using like telekinesis the way that you really would if you had that sort of ability. I've often said on my stream, if you give me telekinesis, I don't need a lightsaber. I will kick your ass without a lightsaber. There's no way you're going to beat me if I have telekinesis. And you don't. I mean, in this case, every side has it. There's a lot of like force versus force. But if you give me telekinesis, like it doesn't matter if you have like a machine gun, a tank. How are you going to beat someone who has telekinesis? I don't know how you're going to do that. Maybe with a sniper rifle, can hit them before
That's
they can even know that you're attacking them. That's about the only way. But yeah, lots of little force pushes, using objects as weapons, using objects as shields, pulling people out of the way, pulling people onto lightsabers. Did you notice that one in episode 5?
Oh,
that was cool.
Yeah. I noticed some stuff that
I won't get any more spoilery than that, but yeah, lots of cool actual use of the Force in the fighting. It felt so good to see that. Really more than any of the movies have ever done it. There's always been a little bit of that, but they really focus on it, and it really feels like they're actually doing that, which is really cool.
Yeah, it feels kind of prequel-y, like episode 2 and 3, where they're flashier,
right?
And
right.
Just moving around, they're faster and making these big jumps. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
And I've heard some people in my chat are like, you like it? And I'm like, yeah, I like it. It's fun. And they're like, oh, I don't like it at all. And then they talk about how it's dumb. And I go, everything's dumb.
Right.
Just give it to a kid. If it's something that you don't like, give it to a kid. I'm sure there's some 8-year-old that thinks it's the best thing in the world. If you don't like it, it's not for you.
Yeah, and there's lots of cool, and there's lots of themes that have been hit on before, in terms of Force using and whether the Jedi are right to take people away from their families or not, and stuff like that. There's tons of interesting that they're exploring in more depth. Some things that they've never really touched on before, I feel that are actually being touched on now, which is really cool. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think
I can't wait to see what happens.
1 and 2 were excellent, and then I think 3 was kind of I thought it was fine, but I kind of
know exactly.
Yeah, it was I knew what was going to happen, or I knew what had to have happened. So when they actually showed it happening, it was okay, I knew this was going to happen. And then some of the details were interesting, but then 4 was really interesting, and then 5 was just crazy. It was 80% fight scene. It felt like.
Yeah, it was, right? I mean, it's season 4, episode 4 stopped when the fight scene started,
right?
And then episode 5 was the fight scene,
right?
It felt like,
because it had that really epic thing at the end of episode 4 with the big force push sort of thing going on, and very cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Really,
I'm looking forward to.
Love the armor. The Sith armor design is really cool.
Oh yeah,
very cool. The Jedi is sort of typical Jedi, but that's fine. That's kind of what you want. And really interesting and fun seeing sort of seeing a Jedi Wookiee. That's not really something we've seen on screen before. I believe it's
coming.
Happened a few times in the in books and such, and comic books certainly. But
and
I'm not
Clone Wars
greatest expert on all of those. Right, Clone Wars did that a little too. So that was really cool. And what else have you been up to?
I have been playing my Chaz Dazzler operative, and I realized a couple days ago that we both have a Dazzler.
Right.
I had what happens is that
is yours an actual cosplay of Dazzler, the character, the X-Men character?
No, I just thought Chaz Dazzler was a goofy name, so I wrote it down on Notepad, and saved it so that when I couldn't think of an idea for a character name, I would go there and I was like, oh yeah, Chaz Dazzler. There we go.
That's awesome.
Chaz Dazzler, and you had even talked about Dazzler,
right?
Your character, and my dumbass didn't even put it together until Sunday. This Sunday.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, oh yeah,
I've been playing
Dazzler too.
Yeah, and she's named Chill Dazzler, so it's not.
I wrote your
hidden.
name in chat and did not put it together.
That's funny.
Pretty funny, but yeah. So playing that character, doing the dot spec of operative, and I haven't played it in a long time, and I tried it. I don't know, a couple of years ago. Didn't really like it. And I've been kind of going through systematically and playing all of the characters classes that have a dot spec to them, just to kind of check it out.
Okay.
Because I've been going burst spec a lot on stuff, so I'm
right.
like, I'll
Go
check
back to the
out
dots.
some other stuff. And I really like that operative dot spec. It's fun.
Lethality is it's been my main
really
for this
fun.
expansion, and it's really nice. It's really good.
Yeah,
it's also, I mean, I know this is not the PvP character we've been like duoing with, but it's considered a very strong PvP spec right now as well.
Well, that I'm going to make that my next PvP character.
Will you? Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking of making the one I'm doing on RoboCop right now, make that my spec for the next PvP character, because
it looks so good.
It's so bursty. It's innovative ordnance, power tech.
Oh yeah.
It's the one with the 4 energy loads, and then you do the energy burst.
Right.
That one. And it's so bursty, like because that's a bursty ability, and then if you build up the 4 loads and then you use your power yield, you get 4 loads immediately again. You can use it again. It always seems to crit. I can't find the thing that says it will auto crit, but it seems to auto crit. And then there's that, and then you have the grenade that hits almost as hard as well,
right.
And it may be harder once I'm at end game, but right now we're still leveling. So, so that's been fun.
That's cool.
And it says in the notes you're like done with Galactic Seasons.
I finally finished Galactic Seasonings 2.
Nice.
I did
as well, but only on one
ago.
server. I'm still working on every other server.
It's insane. I think I'm level 77 on Starforge.
Okay.
And I think there's about 30 days left, so
yes,
hopefully I'll get that done there.
Yeah, there's almost exactly a 1 month left now. So
it's bittersweet because I love the Galactic Seasonings.
Yeah.
And
it spices things up for sure.
It does. It spices the game up.
Yeah.
Hence Galactic Seasonings. But like I said, I always get sad when it's done. But because we're doing the PvP thing, which is my next bullet point here, been doing a lot of PvP with you over on Starforge. I'm doing the Galactic Seasoning on Starforge too.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool and very confusing because
it's like,
I'll be like, wait a minute, what character am I on? What Galactic Seasonings is it? All that kind of stuff. And I actually did a little PvP on Satil Shan.
Okay.
I tried. I was like,
end game leveling,
and see what happens. Just leveling.
Okay.
Just leveling.
Did that go okay?
I think it was, I got 2 tings and got my butt kicked in one. And then by the time, I think it was Lobby.
Okay.
But by the time that I got another ting, I was several levels higher and I did a lot better.
Right.
But I was just kind of curious to see what's going on and stuff like that with Satil Shan. And I think we were talking about it in chat. And I was talking to chat during the stream going, you know what? I'm going to queue. Let's see what happens.
Why not?
And I went over the whole spiel about how, Satil Shan doesn't really, you don't get a lot of PvP tings on this server because
not a lot of leveling, especially.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people. Well, I don't want to say there's not a lot of people. It's less populated than Starforge, but it doesn't seem to, be as populated in PvP. And of course, maybe 10 seconds later, I got a ting. So it was kind of funny. And I went in and played that. But it was I don't think any of the matches had full groups. I think one was one was an arena, and it was 2 against me.
Oof.
And then the other one I think was Hut Ball, and I think we had 5 people, and I think the other team had like a couple more than we did. But whatever, just kind of goofing around.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny. But let's see. I don't think there's anything else. I just been kind of doing the same thing, doing the stream thing and all that stuff. But
awesome.
I will pass the baton to you, good sir.
All right, let's see. Got a few folks here in chat. Cheryl's here, Grizz is here, JD's here, Jedi Knight's here, Kuze's here, Swishy, and Starry Saber are here. Hey, everyone. And I see Omen just chatted as well. And lots of PvP. In fact, it's been kind of like the main thing for my stream, at least. And I know your stream is much longer, so you get to do, you have other things that you're doing as well. But for me, it's actually been like the main thing on all the days that we PvP. And then sometimes I have a little more time, afterwards, but not that much. So we're actually like you're doing a Guardian, and I'm on my Plasma Tech. Dazzler, and we're approaching 80, so we're gonna have to come up with a new character pretty soon. So I guess that'll be your lethality, it sounds like.
That's correct.
And maybe I'll do the innovative ordinance like I was saying, because I'm 75, you're I believe 73, and so we're getting up there. I actually slowed down my XP because I noticed that for whatever reason I was pulling ahead of you, even though we had been really neck and neck for like levels and levels and levels, and then all of a sudden I was like 2 levels ahead.
Did you put XP?
No, I don't have XP gear on.
No, not XP gear. Did you? What's it called? Your legacy. Did you buy it up in your character's personal legacy?
Oh, not PvP, just my normal ones, which are class story and exploration map.
I didn't do any of that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's certainly got to be part of it. Actually what I did to slow it down over the last few days was I went and I did the Dantooine Harvest Festival.
I know
event,
you were kind
of Bountiful Festival or Harvest Bounty. I can never remember. I keep forgetting the name of that because it sort of gets in my head. It mixed up
Spring Festival
with the Hut, fall one. But yeah, the Spring Festival, that's a better name for better casual name for me anyway. So I did that because it still gives a little XP, but a lot less because, I'm still learning it. So I wasn't super efficient anyway. Right. And it also events tend not to be terribly, efficient in terms of giving you XP. It's more about, having fun with the event. So I did a little bit on Dazzler for that. And then I got through the entire event on my main on Satil Shan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I didn't do a ton of dailies. Like I did the story, and I did do every daily once, every weekly once, and then a couple of them twice, and that was about it. So I didn't get up a ton of like points or anything, or the achievements and all that stuff. I got to see the whole thing. I got enough to get like maybe one piece of armor, basically.
It was cool.
I liked it. Yeah, the story was fun. Yeah. And some of the missions were interesting and different. Mm-hmm. The fishing one was actually more fun than I thought it would be because you have to like be a little quick about and figure out, okay, well, I won't be able to get to that circle. Let's go to this one instead. And I kind of dug that one. And
if all just go center.
Yeah, right. Because if you're in the center, then you're closer to everything. Yeah, that definitely helps a little bit. Let's see. And then just for the last couple of weeks at least, I've maxed out on my main also. So in addition to the spring event, I've also been doing Bessie, and I've barely got her to level 4. So long way to go, obviously. Quite enjoyable though. Like it's really not that difficult to do at this level. We'll talk a little bit more because there's like some roadblocks that they're going to help mitigate that people have found once you hit especially at like level 6 apparently, but even like at level 5 starts to get a little more tricky and stuff because you need more and more and more of the various types of everything, but because there's caps and because there's RNG in terms of what ones you get.
That's what I heard people were bugged out about.
Yeah, sometimes we'll go into it in more detail, but basically like people are running into kind of like roadblocks that weren't really meant to be part of the roadblocks. Like most of the roadblock is just supposed to be because of the caps. And so you can either do other characters with Bessie or whatever, but it wasn't supposed to be like, well, I just can't get one that will actually help me. That's not really supposed to be a thing. So they're kind of mitigating that. We'll be talking about that later. Galactic Seasons, it did get to 100 on Starforge, most due to PvP with you. I'm on like 99 on Satil Shan. I'm like basically right there. And that one's because I've done like extra stuff with the guild a few times and stuff like that. And I'm about 90 on all the other servers. So just doing the daily every day. And then once a week on every server, I'll just go through and I'll pick 3 or 4 of what I can fairly easily do solo. And it has to be solo because, like, you know, on European servers, I'm going to have more ping and I don't want to hold people back and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm just doing, you know, like 100 with your companion and heal and go to a companion, you know, go to someone else's stronghold. And
yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah,
it doesn't take long.
Do 15 missions as a trooper or agent, stuff like that. And not difficult at all to do, doesn't take that long, and yeah, I'm really close to being done on every server. So I'm gonna get at the end, I'll go through and grab everything, and I'll get like close to like a couple thousand cartel coins, like on, and then multiple servers. It's gonna be great.
Did you get anything in your loot crates or whatever they're called?
I've done along the way, when I've gotten past the ultimate pack on every server, then I'll do like a little thing on my stream and I'll grab all of them and open them. Nice. I haven't gotten anything too spectacular, but I've gotten a couple of nice mounts that I've never had before.
Oh, cool!
Like there's that one. There's a couple of Airtechs. A lot of Airtechs I don't have. Like the Airtech Rose is all I've had for a long time, and that's a really cool one. But there's a really nice one that's sort of like green, but it's not see-through, but it's kind of like green and white and blue, and it's really attractive.
Yeah.
And I just got that one, and that's a really nice one. I really like it.
I know exactly which one. It looks like it's
very shiny.
The color depends on where you look.
Yeah, right.
On it, it's really cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's really well done. And I got that one. I haven't unlocked it for the account yet. I'll wait. I probably will wait till the next sale, but we'll see. Sometimes if I need it for a cosplay, I'll unlock it right away.
If I need it.
If I need it. Yeah. And there's a few other things for sure. Couple of interesting weapons and stuff like that. Nothing too spectacular, but it's been nice. And then because there's one at level 97, I believe it is. It's on the last page. There's
like 94.
So within a week or so, I'll pass everything. I'll pass up, and then I'll do the last ones and get all those done. And probably off stream, I'm gonna have to do all the unlocks for all the many decos and armor crates and stuff like that. Like those are interesting enough for just myself, but for a stream, do we really want to see me go through 20 bronze boxes where I have 90% of the weapons and 95% of the armor.
See, I think people like watching that stuff.
It can be fun, I guess. The RNG is still kind of interesting, but I
mean, the RNG is pretty crazy.
Yeah, some of the silver and gold boxes are really still fun for sure, because there's even the armor, maybe I have 50% of the gold and maybe 60% of the silver, something like that. But there's a lot I don't have, so it's really fun. It's fun to get the new stuff for that. And of course, the other thing with the ultimate packs is they don't really do any more bronze. When's the last time they came out with a bronze pack and put it up on the cartel? They don't. It's gold.
That's part of the RNG now.
Yeah, once in a while it's a silver, but almost always it's gold, and then a lot of the time it's platinum as well. It's it's 95% is gold and platinum, and then I think they do throw out a silver one once in a while, and that's about it. And so every time there's something kind of new that comes out of the ultimate pack, it's yay, because it's always really cool. So yeah,
I would like to see. I don't know how they would do this, but when I open those, 9 times out of 10 I already have it, and I would like to give that stuff away.
Right.
But with the tax, it's just
makes
oh my God, I don't have enough money to give stuff away. Seems lame.
Right. It's pretty difficult.
I wish that there was a way to circumvent that without having.
But of course, then everyone would circumvent it.
Right.
It's difficult. There's some sort of ways you can do it with guild stuff and like that, but then you have to you have to trust people to, and whatever. Anyway, Yeah, so I think we'll go on to the tip of the week. I came up with this one just because I had this weird thing happen. This was the character that I brought over to Shea Vizsla, and I don't know if that's the reason this happened, but for whatever reason, the character isn't in a guild, and I'd like him to be, so I need to be in general chat to sort of hopefully notice when someone's recruiting. Right. And then, so I needed to get into general chat because I usually turn it off. So I went into my chat settings, and there was no general button. Not at all. There was a button for trade, there's a button for PvP, and there's no general button. And I checked on other characters. Every other character has the general button, just like you'd expect.
Oh, no way.
So for some reason, the general button had gone away for this character. Resetting the UI didn't work. Logging in and out did not work. Nothing. No simple fixes. So, and when I tried joining general, because I thought, well, maybe I'm not joining general.
C-join.
Yeah, so I C-joined. It informed me I was already in the channel. So I didn't know what to do about it. And I sat on it a couple of days, and I thought, well, if I'm already in general, what would happen if I left general and then came back? And for some reason, that worked. I did C leave general. And it told me and it informed me that I had left general. And then I joined general, and I checked chat settings, and general was back.
Nice.
So yeah, so if one of those very, very basic that I didn't think could actually go away channels goes away for some reason, you can try that. We'll try leaving that channel and then joining it again.
That's crazy. I
don't know how
thought of that.
Yeah, I don't know how rare of a bug that is, but it worked for me. So there you go. There's your tip if that ever happens to you. If you have a tip of the week, send it to OotiniCast@gmail.com before the next show for a chance to win a Tonfon M8-3R droid or M2B9 droid code, courtesy of Broadsword, and also a 450cc code as well, also courtesy of Broadsword. And that'll bring us to the Mind Trap. And we asked, how far have you trained Bessie, B3S1? And a lot of votes this time, and also thanks to everyone who retweeted, reposted, and also actually SWOTOR did, and I think that helped with the vote count. This vote count was higher than our average of late. Let's see. So the options were 6 through the end, which you can't really be at the end yet, but we just keeping it simple. 3 to 5. 1 or 2, or just haven't started. And actually, haven't started is still miles ahead. We did have a question not long ago where we asked, basically if you've done Bessie at all, and basically around 60% hadn't done Bessie, and still 60% haven't done Bessie. So that hasn't changed in the last few weeks, and I guess that makes some sense. In terms of the ones who actually have done some on Bessie, the winner was 3 to 5, level 3 to 5, so people have sort of been plugging along, but they aren't quite as far as you can be. If you've been really assiduous, you could be at level 6 by now. 1 to 2 actually came in second, so it's 20% of the overall vote were 3 to 5, 12% 1 to 2, and just 6.4% at 6 through the end.
Interesting.
And I was 3 to 5, although barely 3, to be fair, at the time of the of this questioning a week ago. I've now gotten her on 4, just barely, but she was like part way into 3 at the time of the question. Nice. Now she's level 4, still quite a ways to go. And how about you, Kitty?
Haven't started.
Really? I thought you were interested in her, though.
I am very interested, but I also there's 2 reasons. One is that I'm really lazy, and the other reason is when I go to try and start it, I don't know where to go. I've done all the missions. I've got to where the what's her nuts goes, hey, I need you to do this mission. Would you do it? And I'm like, yeah. Went and did all the preliminary stuff, but I don't know where to go. Okay. It's not in my right. It doesn't automatically show up. So so I'm like,
Yeah, a couple of things that'll help you is if you hit your Y button, which is where all your perks and things are, there's a new section for Bessie, like for that event, or it's not really an event. They have a term for it, but it's skipped my head. It's right out of my head right now. But
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, so for the Basilisk War Droid thing, and you can, and it'll actually give you a little button you can actually go. But you basically go to Runic, and then there's a new area there, a lab, and you go into the lab, and then you kind of start it from there.
I kind of assumed it was on Runic, but
yeah,
like I said, part 1, I'm lazy. So I was I'll get
lazy.
to it.
But you are lazy, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Sorry, old
yeah.
Futurama reference.
That's right. You're lucky I'm lazy. I
beat you up. But you are lazy, right?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So, yeah.
I'll get to it.
Cool,
it's not going anywhere, so I'm not in any rush.
Right. So, like Rurikar said, I'm at level 6, well on the way to level 7 on reset day.
Jeez!
Yeah.
Rurikar.
He's really been assiduous. Level 5 took a lot of resources, but because of that, I now have modules ready for future levels. Still, cool. I hope the devs can come up with something to mitigate the RNG factor in the future, and we're going to talk about that more later because it's in the show note. It's in the patch notes or update notes that they're doing. Empress Valen is level 1, didn't enjoy the new grind, so going to pass on it. Let's see. And some people have been doing PvP Season 6 and the Abundance event instead. The Abundance event is now done. In fact, I had to check on that because like I noticed that like the patch notes had a bunch of Abundance event updates, and I thought, did they extend the Abundance event so that you can actually take advantage of these changes? No. I double checked. It's not there anymore. I looked on the fleet to see if the little, the Abundance little area is there. It's not. And then I even went to Dantooine, which you'd think the fleet would be enough, but I went to Dantooine in the new area, and it's like the vendor's still there. So if you have things that you want to buy from that vendor, the vendor's still there. Kind of like how the Nightlife event, the vendors stay there as well.
Yeah.
And then
same with the
but the mission guy isn't gone. The mission daily box is gone. Some of the other stuff is gone. You can actually still dance at the pole if you want. Not that there's a real reason to, but you can. When you go into the pole, the little buttons pop up.
Yeah, the Thanksgiving event has vendors where that thing goes on too on Nar Shaddaa.
Right. So yeah, so some people are getting stuck on their RNG, which is again what they're going to try to fix.
I've heard people complaining about that a lot.
Yeah, some people were doing the festival. I actually don't mind the Bessie stuff because I'm kind of enjoying how, first of all, it's fairly strict limits, and I'm only going to do it on one character, so I'm not going to be like trying this on multiple characters. Yeah, but you only have to do 2 missions every time you get a new module. You don't have to do a full daily area. You can just pick 2 missions that you feel you can do quickly and efficiently, and you're kind of done right away. I did some tips last week, one of which they're going to fix, but I will talk about that later on, because basically, like, if you were mounted up when you did a turn-in, you actually wouldn't advance the Bessie thing. Like, Bessie had to be out and available, or else you'd actually get the turn in, but it wouldn't advance the Bessie thing.
It wouldn't
kind of lose out on it. Yeah. So, and that's still the case today, but the patch is going to drop tomorrow, and that apparently is going to get changed. So
that's cool.
Hopefully that will no longer happen, and that particular part of I did several things for the tip, but that was part of it, and hopefully that part will no longer be needed. Let's see.
The real reason I haven't started is because I've been waiting for them to do this. Mm-hmm. Not because I was lazy. Yep. Change the narrative, June. You got it.
Yeah. Let's see. So, yeah, I've been too busy trying to get that dang fish on Dantooine. So there's some rare fish that you can get. I don't think I got too many of the rare ones. Yeah, I think I got some pretty normal fish when I.
What happens if you get a rare one?
Well, it's kind of an achievement thing, as I understand it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
There's also an achievement that says like the secret under Dantooine or something like that, and I have no idea what that's about. Like if you look in the achievements, it's like this one that's sort of off by itself, and it says, what is under the dark, what dark secret is hiding,
You didn't do that?
No, it's not part of this. It's not the normal story. It's like some other thing.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it wasn't.
it's a hidden achievement of some kind that I have no idea how you do it, and I decided not to like. I didn't want to look for a guide for it because I felt like it might be fun to actually look for it at some point, but it was already.
Did you jump down the well?
So, no, I didn't jump.
You didn't? Oh,
didn't know you could jump down the well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get like a title or something?
I think you get an achievement.
Or
I know as soon as I saw it, I jumped in it. I didn't even think twice. Just like in real life.
Go do a ring reenactment.
If TV's taught me anything, there's probably some kid stuck down there.
Yeah, that's right.
Little baby Jessica.
Yeah, it's either Lassie's boy or it's the girl from The Ring for sure.
Yeah.
All right, and let's see. So let's go ahead and get to the holofeed. They did update the Galactic Season objectives from June 18th all the way through July 30th. You can find it in our show notes for this episode or on SWTOR.com. We've long since decided that going through these bit by bit is not terribly
tedious, I think would be the word.
Yeah, thank you. So we'll skip over it, but they are in the show notes, and of course they are on SWTOR.com. So that's all good. Let's see. There was shortly after our last episode, EA was having some troubles with its online services. People were having trouble making online purchases, including cartel coins and subscriptions. And then later that day, this was 17th of June, that the issues were resolved. So that's the sort of thing that happens once in a while. And that time it got fixed pretty quickly. It was within the same day.
Yeah, it had to do with real life money.
Yeah.
They were like, we got to get that fixed.
So let's see. They have a fix on the way, but won't be deployed until after the event is ended. This is an achievement, A Gentle Heart. So Dantooine Spring Event. And they actually did talk about this a little bit where even the bug aside, you really couldn't get all the achievements in one spring festival. Like it was impossible to do. So you couldn't max out just this year. You actually would have to wait until at least one more year of it, which is kind of interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Right. Let's see. As stated above, let's see. The Gentle Heart achievement can only be obtained when the event rolls around again. Let's see. There was on 18th of June, also sort of like shortly after the last show, there's a Satil Shan server error where load times were increasing greatly. I was actually on at the time. It was weird because, it was like, it kind of reminded me of like if you played SWTOR with not an SSD but an old hard drive, and it took like forever. Like it took like almost a minute to like get into a big area like Nar Shaddaa or whatever. And then you get an SSD and it takes like 10 seconds. It's like, oh my God, this is so much better.
It knocks your socks off how much of a change it is.
How much better it was.
This is great. And then when you start playing with other people and you're not the last one to load in finally.
Yeah.
Like,
and Kuze saying in chat, the hidden achievement. He would have actually if he had gotten the Void Fish, he would have been 100%. That's amazing.
Whoa.
That's a lot of
crazy.
Dantooine. Kuze's been doing a lot of Dantooine then. Let's see. The RNG on Bessie after about level 5. They got on to say, we've been keeping an eye on the feedback coming in on this thread, and we want to say we will be making adjustments to help with this friction point. And then again, this is part of the show notes, the patch notes. So Keith Canick then had some stuff on story development, along with Ashley Rule, the narrative director. So Keith, our sort of the leader of SWTOR, basically came in and said, hey folks, wanted to hop on here, clear up some of the misconceptions we've seen in the forums and in other spaces players frequent. Some of this is based on folks misinterpreting what I've communicated in the past, along with limited knowledge of how our game development process works. And there always is going to be sort of limited information on how their game process works, because like they try to be communicative about it, but it's so behind the scenes and it's always changing a little bit, and so it's difficult. But anyway, back to what Keith actually says. Since we began Legacy of the Sith, we had planned for a number of updates to tell the entire story, while also bringing in a variety of gameplay, events, adjustments, and even new features like the recent Venture system. Hey, that's what Bessie's called, Venture system. There we go.
Venture system.
Venture system. And they did say there's going to be other venture systems in the future, or at least they have planned, but we have no idea what those are yet. They have not given any other indication of what those would be. Anyway, Keith says, so it's fair to say that before we transitioned to Broadsword, a large part of our design direction was made while the team was at BioWare/EA. But everything we're doing now and have been doing for some time is completely new and developed here at Broadsword. There seems to be some perception that what is currently being developed is somehow different from what we've done in the past. When we work on an expansion and the ongoing updates related to it, we have a firm understanding of the direction we want to take the game. As a live service, we're in a constant flow of creation and production. The shortest and simplest way to think of this is that we plan, we scope, we develop, and then we deploy. A more detailed way of understanding the flow is that we're always in pre-production, production, and retrospective all at the same time across multiple game updates. We have outlines for future content and then bring relevant plans for the next future update into sharp focus, detailing out what is needed and what is involved with said content. And of course, player feedback is another important factor that plays a part in SWTOR's development and allows us opportunities to reassess plans or make adjustments. In reality, the same folks who developed SWTOR in the past, most of whom have been here for 5 or 10 plus years, are still here and working hard to deliver, to expand, and wrap up our current storylines, adding new cartel market items, new ways to interact with the game, and much more. I also understand there's been feedback about the story content in the last couple of updates, and I want to give the floor to Ashley so she can address this feedback. And then Ashley came on and said, to reiterate what Keith said, the team working on SWTOR at Broadsword is largely the same team that was at BioWare. Sorry, I kind of said that. That was the same team that was at BioWare. Same folks, different banner. This includes the narrative team, who've been authors in the story arc since the beginning. The legacy of the Sith narrative has a high-level roadmap that has not changed. But as we put each chapter into active development, we must be agile enough to accommodate big changes like our move to Broadsword. As our team size has changed, so has our development. We pivot, we scope, and we strategize to bring players the highest quality content that our current team can produce, which I guess is sort of basically sort of quietly confirming that this team is a little bit smaller. Or at least has to be, kind of logically based on what she's saying. But anyway, that's a very vague, and I don't know exactly what that means.
It doesn't sound like. It sounds like they're doing what they can with what they have.
Yeah, exactly.
The people that they have, which, good.
Yeah. Let's see. Anyway, so the highest quality content that our current team can produce. To that end, starting in Game Update 7.3, we adjusted our delivery of narrative content, particularly cinematics in the main story. As we've established a rhythm over the last few updates, I want to give context why we vary our cinematic scene style in Crit Path story content and where you can expect it. So, before she gets into this, because I didn't really realize what she was going to really be talking about until like I was halfway through this. So basically she's going to be talking mostly about the two different scene styles in SWTOR. So there's the one is the fully voiced one that originally on was the only kind. And then eventually we started to see what she's going to refer to as the KOTOR style, which is where the other person, not your character, will talk fully, but your character's own voicing will be done simply by by the text at the bottom of the screen and the choices you make below that text. And so those are the two styles. So like the fully voiced, and then there's like what she sometimes calls the KOTOR scenes. Okay, so currently in SWTOR story content, we have two main scene types. Our standard scene type has voice lines. I guess she kind of did already say that, but anyway, it's voice lines for the player character and the NPC characters in the scene, and dialogue choices are limited to 3 choices. The staging, animation, and camera work is more complex, requiring a lot more time from our cinematic team to build complex choreography. These are our highest effort scenes, so we reserve them for the biggest impact moments like action scenes, romances, and important choices. Our second scene type is KOTOR style. These scenes have voiced lines for the NPCs, but player lines are unvoiced and only appear as dialogue choices. The dialogue choices in these scenes are expanded beyond the 3 choices in a standard scene, giving the player more response options. It's true, sometimes there's 5 and 6.
Yeah, and they're a lot more detailed.
Yeah. The staging and cameras are simplified, which puts less pressure on our cinematic team and means that scenes can potentially be more longer or more branchy since they reuse much of the staging setup. This means KOTOR scenes can have actually more conversational depth than if they were built as standard scenes. We use KOTOR scenes when we have conversational interactions, and we leverage this design to include additional player lines specific to the player's class, romance, and previous choices. The mix of standard and KOTOR scenes ensures that we can produce enough story content for the scale of each update while not overloading our current narrative team. It's extremely important to me and the rest of the leadership team that our content plans fit within our team's scope and maintain a healthy work/life balance. Yeah, it's true. While I know this is a different style than previous game updates, we're still enthusiastic about building a story that feels emotionally impactful, dynamic, and personal to as many player stories as possible. So
we had talked about this before in a previous episode of OotiniCast, and I've heard some people complaining about it. And I don't think it didn't bother me at all. In fact, I kind of liked, I can understand why they do it. You can get more content by not doing it, or by doing it in the KOTOR standard style.
Right.
And
to me,
I don't think it takes away from the game at all.
Okay. Yeah. For me, this explanation by Ashley actually does help, because for me, I actually was kind of put off by the KOTOR style cutscenes. Like I recognize they've been in the game for a fairly long time now, since Kopfi Kotet. So that's the majority of KOTOR's life, actually. Right. But especially recently, they've been also like interspersed in an unusual way. So like in the last update, you'd have like regular cutscenes, and then it would go to KOTOR, and then it would go back to regular, and then it would go to KOTOR again, and it would kind of go back and forth. And to me, that was really strange. It's, I didn't know. To me, it helps knowing that this is not a voice actor cost cutting thing, because that's kind of what I was wondering. Is like, the voice actor is already coming in for all these other scenes. Why is our character not talking here? Well, now we know why they're not talking here. It's because it's not really about the fact of adding a few voice actor lines, because that really wouldn't have that much cost, because the voice actor did in fact come in. But it's because the cutscene itself becomes much more difficult to make it once you do that fully voice thing. And it also apparently, like, they have to keep it simpler for that sort of thing. So
time efficiency.
Yeah. So it's kind of nice to know that at least when they're doing the simpler version, they can at least make the conversations more complex, like have more choices and stuff like that. And so at least there's beyond the cost and time savings on their end, on our end, or at least we're getting a little bit more by getting potentially more, more interactions, or, more different potential choices. So it actually did help me quite a bit to know that there's like a little bit of, that there's multiple reasons, and it's not, and also that it's not all just cost cutting. It's also like, how do we do this more complex conversation, while also being able to actually get it out in time.
Yeah, that's what as soon as I saw it, I knew there was some sort of efficiency to having it done in the non-traditional SWTOR way. And it was still good. Even if it wasn't voice acted, it was still good. Right. And I noticed that the complexity of your choices were a lot more nuanced. And I thought that was really cool. So it didn't really bug me. But
yeah. And I guess we know.
Great though. I'm glad.
Right.
They put this out.
Yeah, exactly. And now we'll know like why, like in the fully voiced scenes, like you never see more than 3 options. And that's partly because they're just more difficult to do, and they're more complex to do, and they have to kind of keep it down to just 3 options if they're going to do the full voicing type. So that's interesting. I
remember seeing it in the Voss area where when that was new content, and thinking, holy crap, these are in depth. Yeah, and there's lots of them. It's really cool. But yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks for the information.
Yep. So thank you to Keith and Ashley for that information. Let's see. Then Jackie Coe did let us know that 7.5B.
Let us know.
7.5B is coming 27th of June. Actually, it's the day after we're recording the OotiniCast. So
Right.
I think I wrote in the show notes. Actually, I did write in the show notes that it was the day we recorded. It's actually the day after, because they're actually not doing it on Tuesday. They're actually dropping it on Wednesday. So actually tomorrow is 7.5B. So we did have thank you. We had the usual weekly reset, and we've got the new galactic season choices and all that, and Bessie's been reset and all that sort of thing. But these other things that we're going to be talking about are actually not coming till tomorrow. So that is important to notice, especially like if you're turning in Bessie things. Dismount. Make sure she's out for now.
Dismount
today, and then tomorrow. Hopefully, this will be fixed. So
that's so great that you brought that up. I don't know how many people have probably just gone, "What the?"
Oh, I know it sucks. No, and it happened to me more than once, because like there's the kind where you on like Yavin where you talk to them,
right?
But because there's a bunch of them and you want to run around, like I mount up. So, you turn them in, and then it's like all of a sudden, okay, I've turned them in and I didn't get any advancement on the Bessie thing. That's
and mounting
one thing.
up.
But also, there's also the delayed one. So like the radiation missions, Empire and Republic on Black Hole, there's a delay. There's a little timer when you finish it. It gives you a little time to get out of the radiation area, I think is why it's there. But if you rocket boost or are mounted up by the time that actually turns in, that can also screw it up too. So so it can anyway. So be careful until this happens tomorrow. Anyway, so 7.5B is dropping tomorrow, 27th of June, 2024. Nar Shaddaa Nightlife event, which we knew was coming back, as it's one of the annual events. It is coming July 9th, so just a couple weeks from now.
Ooh, nice.
Yep, very exciting. It doesn't really give any other information, so we don't know too much more about like what the new items will be or anything like that, or if there's any changes to the machines or anything like that. We don't know any of that yet. Hopefully we'll get a little of information on that at some point. However, one thing they did say is that Nar Shaddaa modernization is happening. Modernization has begun on Nar Shaddaa. The first updates are to the slot machines around the planet in the Nightlife event, and even in your strongholds if you have them as decorations, which is very cool, because that way, just like how the new part of Hutta, they did a bunch of updates and it actually propagated back to old Hutta. So old Hutta actually looks more updated as well. The same thing is going to happen here, and it's going to start apparently with the slot machines. But if you see the slot machines, it'll be updated. But even if you have a deco in a completely different stronghold, then that'll be updated too. That's really cool.
That is cool. Lots
of changes to the Basilisk prototype venture. So Bessie. New daily area specific training modules are now available to purchase from HK24 and Lane's Lab. That will be very helpful, because they were basically not really specific, so you'd have to kind of like RNG it, and that was a kind of a pain in the butt. That was, I think, especially for the later levels where people were having more and more trouble getting the ones they could actually do. Basilisk training missions can now be completed while players are mounted or transformed. So that's excellent. So now Bessie, if you turn it in, Bessie will still advance now for mounted or presumably rocket boosting as well. And I'm not sure about the transforming. I didn't have that particular thing happen to me, so I'm not sure what kind of transformation that would be that would prevent that. There must be like a couple of dailies out there that put you in a disguise maybe or something. Anyway, the collected research item for Basilisk prototype venture can no longer be used if all granted currencies are capped, which hopefully that wouldn't be an issue. But I guess if you were just clicking, you might cap it out and not realize it, and then But really, don't use them if you're pretty much capped even a little bit, let alone all granted currencies, because there's 4 different currencies you can get from those things. Bonus missions will now be properly granted after players pick up heroic missions for Oricon, Black Hole, and CZ-198. So I guess sometimes people were like doing it in different orders, and sometimes it would or would not pick up the bonus, because there's like if you go to Black Hole, when you pick up the first mission, it should then give you a bonus that says if you do the heroic, you get this extra stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it just gives you a little bump. It's really, it's whether it's worth doing or not is kind of up to you. It's it's fine. I've done it because I always do black hole on stealthers and it goes really fast.
Yeah.
The bonus mission, Basilisk Prototype combat training will now be granted after picking the Colossal Threat daily mission from the terminal. So that was like a bug, apparently. Some of the IOCath ones have been fixed. Mission complete windows for starting out, stabilize, and memory chip now have icons. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but it's basically they're just working on these. Training missions now properly progress when the CZ-198 heroic mission is complete. I don't think I had that particular problem, but apparently some people were. The Mech-Shaw training mission descriptions and mission steps will now indicate when the player can complete heroic missions. Training module items can no longer be used once the training mission daily limit has been reached. So that's good. You can't accidentally do one that like accept one that would then you'd not be able to do, because there's also when you accept, I know you haven't done this yet, Kitty, but when you accept a training mission module, then the Bessie has like an hour timer on her,
right?
So if there's like one that you've done that like you won't be able to do until like the weekly reset or whatever, then the timer is going to be done. So
right.
Let's see, icon for training mission in the mission tracker window no longer missing. That's just a bug thing. Scales properly. Training reminder mission now scales properly with the player's character level. That's probably good. Let's see. Same one for Yavin. The tooltip for the discharge ability now displays the correct damage value. Same with Pulsefire Cannon. And then the tooltip for original upgraded regenerative burst ability to show the correct healing value. So they're doing some bug fixing on Bessie herself. Feels like the main thing they're doing to get rid of the RNG is to make particular training modules available from HK24, the vendor in Lane's lab. That seems to be basically, it seems like a pretty simple fix, because like before you'd have to choose a quote unquote combat module, then you'd actually open it up to find out which one you get. It's RNG. This one, it sounds like there's going to be particular ones available. I don't know if it'll also let you buy random ones. I have no idea, but
have to wait and see next year.
I'd say for a lot of people, like this will probably make it like nicer to do, because like if let's say you're a person kind of like me, I'm sort of like this, where you definitely like certain daily areas way better than other ones.
Oh yeah.
Like I love doing Black Hole, at least on a stealther. I love doing CZ. I'm okay with Zyos. I like Yavin 4 okay. And there's a couple others that I like. Oricon and Osus are both okay. And there's a couple others that I'll deal with, but I really don't like Section X. I'm not a big Section X fan.
Yeah, I don't like Section X either.
Yeah. Anon's okay. I don't like IOCath. There's a couple others that I just don't like. And so when I get those, it's like they're just kind of sitting in my inventory. I have several IOCaths in my inventory, for example. So I think that's going to be the main thing they're talking about. That's going to kind of hopefully fix the issue for people who are higher levels, who have advanced her to like 5 and 6 and beyond. So that'll be good. Right. And it'll be really nice that it won't bug out when you are mounted, just for being mounted, because she wasn't out, and so it wouldn't advance. It was like really sad. There's a bunch of changes to the Dantooine Spring Abundance Festival, which is the official name that I couldn't remember earlier. Scan for Tauntaun Nest ability will only be visible when players need to complete that step as intended. The pet ability now stays visible even if players jump from one enclosure to the other during creature rehabilitation. Blah, 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 blah. So those are little things. The Gentle Heart Hidden Achievement now works as intended. Sorry?
The Zappafish mission rings now indicate how long they will remain active.
That'll make it great. Easier. Yeah, because a lot of times I'd be kind of advancing on them, and then like right before I actually get to the last motion
it disappears.
It disappears. Yeah. So at least like if it turns color or something, I'll be like, okay, I can leave that. I'm too far away. I'll go to something else. Let's see. The for Bilba Groves and Dantooine Planet area, we'll use the same chat channel. Let's see. And then there was a VFX for the Westar 19 sniper rifle off of the vendor. Now properly aligns with the weapon texture, so there's a little bug there. So yeah, mostly it sounds like just a couple of the achievements kind of got fixed, and that'll make it so people can get to 100% next time. Of course, there's probably going to be more achievements that they always are going to add a little bit,
Yeah, those add
almost always anyway. Let's see, Desperate Defiance, which is like the recent story update. Had a few bug fixes. We don't necessarily need to go into all of them, but it's basically just like,
right,
play, just little things that were happening within that. Yeah, most of them don't look really game breaking or anything. They're just like, although a couple of them were like people can get stuck inside the machine and stuff like that.
You're stuck in the machine.
Yeah. Let's see. And let's see, Desperate Defiance Cinematics had some updates as well. Then there's some general ones. Apparently some people you couldn't have a flying mini-pet and a ground mini-pet active at the same time. Now that is available again. So if you're a big pet lover, that's definitely good news. Let's see. Let's see, there's some fixed missing mountains along the Hutt skyline, so that'll be interesting to see if you can notice that. There are some shading issues on some armors and a mount that now they have their lighting and shadows as intended. Cybernetic Varactyl mount is the mount, and then Light Devotee's robe, Arctic Trooper helmet, Discharge Infantry boots, Patient Defender's armor set, and Exiled Padawan's armor set all have their lighting fixed. Yeah, I think the Exiled Padawan one came up an episode or two ago where it was looking weird. It was like too dark or something.
Yeah.
And I think there was a Twitter thing about it as well, like where people are like showing screenshots of it, and it was like kind of oddly dark for like no reason, but only in certain parts of the armor and stuff like that.
The pants.
So, yeah. So apparently that's just like a lighting shadow sort of bug, and then once that gets fixed, it just looks normal again. And then fix the textures of the stairs in the Blaster's Path Canteen on Rishi. Interesting. I didn't realize there was a bug there, and I've definitely done that a few times. I've done the Rishi thing, and then usually after I kill Goro, the Rhodian, then I usually end up running up those stairs in the back. But I guess I do that too fast. I just ran up them
the other day.
Yeah, I guess I ran them too fast because I haven't noticed any texture issues.
Yeah, I was getting eggs.
Let's see. And then a couple of other little things there. Let's see. The Cartel Market and Collection images for Field Tech Gunner armor set now feature the correct belt. I love it. Let's see. Is there anything else? There's a few refined mentors. There was some clipping that was happening with dual saber, lightsaber, bracers, and those have all been fixed so they don't clip for either all characters or certain body types. Matte black and metallic black dye modules now drop in the Ultimate Cartel and Ultimate Cartel Platinum packs as intended.
Nice.
So, cross fingers. VFX for the Serpent's Tongue is no longer missing. I want to check that out. The Serpent's Tongue is that new longsword that with the little gem in the middle that's like equal to your color crystal. It's a fairly new one. It looks very it's like very swords and sorcery.
Very Conan the Barbarian.
Very Conan. Yeah, you could definitely do a Conan thing with that. You could even do like a Lord of the Rings sort of thing with it. Apparently it has some VFX, and apparently it's no longer missing. I did preview it today just to see what this was, and it has some sort of VFX when you swing it anyway, or maybe it's been added sort of behind the scenes even before the patch. I don't know. So I'm not sure exactly what that's going on with, but Double Agent and Shady Gambler dye modules have been added to the Golden Certificate vendor. So, so the Golden Certificate, that's for the Nightlife event, isn't it? Or is that the one? Yeah, that's the one for the Nightlife event. So,
cool.
Yeah, okay. So these were two dye modules that I believe Sotorisa was having troubles like getting a hold of for the for her website. And I think we know why. It's been added now to the vendor. Whether this was like intended all along and now it's actually where it needs to be, where it was going to be all
You have to go
along.
check that out.
And then essentially a fix, or whether this is like their way of just sort of getting the modules out there, and they were going to be out there in some other way. I don't know, but they are in fact on the golden certificate vendor. So there's going to be a couple dies to check out. Undoubtedly, I should definitely check those out myself. I definitely
me too.
use a lot of those. I have no idea what color combinations those are.
I don't know either.
They're a little hard to tell just from the names, but that's okay. We'll figure it out later. And then the Rampage Achievement Boost item now works within Minbusa District on Hutta as intended. So if you're using those Rampage Boost items that you get, I think they're like daily things, aren't they? Like
Rampage.
Daily things that you can click on get.
Right.
And and that's all the stuff. So pretty good stuff. Mostly from stuff that came out in 7.5. Like the Basilisk and Dantooine and stuff like that, and Desperate Defiance. So it's basically all fixing a bunch of stuff on that, and good stuff. Anything else, Kitty? Is there anything more you need to say about the Acolyte or anything like that?
No, I think we talked about that. Looking forward to the story.
Cool. All right. Anything going on with your stream that we should mention?
I don't know if 4th of July is going to happen before, but we might be having a 4th of July dual stream. So
okay.
Yeah, that's not out getting drunk. Right. Barbecue. Come by and hang out.
The 4th will be a week and a day from today, 8 days from today, as of this recording. So it'll be between the two shows. So yeah, that sounds great. So that'll be fun, I'm sure. What sort of things will you do on your stream that day?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
We'll probably play it by ear.
Sounds good. All right, then that's a show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Satil Shan server, or in our
Utini Rage
Guild on the Empire side, do a /C join Utini to join the Utini channel. Then let us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show to utinicast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter using @UtiniCast or Mastodon @utinicast@mastodon.world. You can find contact details on our website, utinicast.com, which includes how to subscribe using iTunes and the rest. We record the show live bi-weekly on Wednesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific, streaming at twitch.tv/utinicast. Our theme song is Doomsday by Jean-Paul Zogby. And thank you to the chat room.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll see you next show.
Toodaloo, everybody. All right, let's see who's on.
Yeah, and let me get to the...
The Kogue is on.
Okay, let me get to the dashboard so I can actually do a raid. There we go. Cog's on. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go say hi to Cog. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.
All right. So a couple more seconds, and we'll be able to raid him. There we go. All right. Let me do this. Stopping the stream. Stopping the recording.